Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to this first episode of another series on a 911. So still doing the Triumph. I was waiting on a part for it, so we've kind of stuck this 911 in just now to do that job and then jump back onto the Triumph again. So I'll let you have a look at it and see what we're dealing with. It's actually mechanical work that we're doing on this just now, but hopefully I might be able to convince the owners to let me do a paint correction on it, because there's so much I could do with that. I mean, it's really nice. It's not rusty. It's a really nice car, but I can make that look twice as good. The paintwork, get a really good shine on that. So we'll see about that. But at the minute, anyway, you're not really going to be able to see anything just now. But we're going to be working in there. And this car has a fuel leak, which is obviously not what you want. It's a 911 Carrera 4. It does have it's got 997 wheels on it, and it's also got the headlight conversion, which is really, really good actually. Unless you kind of look closely, you do kind of think it's a 997, especially from the front with the 997 wheels. So I had the 996 turbo, just the normal headlights. I didn't mind them at all. They were the same as, I had the Boxster S before that, so obviously it was the same. But obviously the 997 is an improvement, so it's just got the standard 996 lights in the back. The best way to match that would probably just be to put the fully red ones on. My 997 turbo had the completely red clusters in the back, which looked really good. So that would actually make it look more like a 997 from the back as well. But we can chat about that. So 44 Autos plates came as well. It's the first car they've been on, so just so we're not showing off customers' number plates. So this is what we're working on. I wasn't planning on filming this, but it was one of my friends that has this as well, and they'd seen that I was filming the job on the Triumph for another friend. So basically they sort of were quite happy to see their car getting worked on as well. So I'm going to film this, and basically what we need to do is we need to take out the injectors and replace the seals on them. And we do have a new fuel rail, but it's highly unlikely that that's actually what the problem is. It's highly likely that it's just the injectors and the injector seals. So, but we do have fuel rail there as well in case we need it. So first things first, get the car jacked up, and then I'll talk about what we need to do to get into where we need to be. Okay, so that's the easy bit done. Got the car sitting at a good height, and I've got my long reach jack, which will be fine to support the engine when we drop that down a bit, because we're going to need to drop it a bit to get into what we need to get into. This is the reason that people aren't queuing up to do this job, or to work on Porsches in general, because they're very difficult to get access to, and there are a number of things that you have to drop the engine to do. Thankfully this isn't one of them, but we do need to lower it a bit to get to what we need to get to. So the first thing I need to do is take out the airbox, and obviously I'm going to need to disconnect the things associated, so the intake to the throttle body, MAF sensor, etc. Oil pipe needs to come off. There's a bolt down there, a couple of things around there. So we need to take that off, and that'll give us a bit of excess. So let's start doing that. So I've got the airbox out, and you can see a lot more of the engine now, so I'll let you have a look and see what the back of the 911 engine looks like. So that's the airbox out and sitting safely over there out of the way, and that's the big space that it takes up. So now that's out of the way, we can actually see quite a lot more, which is great. So now what I need to do is take this coolant overflow off, and to see if there's anything else I need to take out, just to get a bit more access. Right, so that's all done, and now we should be good to drop the engine a bit, which sounds quite dramatic, but it's actually fairly simple. So I'll show you what I mean. So you can see there's an 18mm bolt right there in the middle of your screen, and on the other side is the other 18mm bolt. I've just ordered a new light. So basically all I need to do is loosen them. You can take them off completely. I'm not going to do that because there's no point. If something should go amiss, then it's going to fall right down, which I don't want to happen. So basically I'm just going to loosen the nuts enough to get them off. Hopefully they come off quite easily, because I don't really want to be heating stuff up if I can help it, given that there's been a pretty major fuel leak. I mean, it was literally pouring out of the car. So it's not been run for a few days deliberately, and so the system should hopefully be pretty depressurized, but yeah, I'd rather not be heating things up. So I'm basically just going to go and grab the jack and put it in the middle of the engine, and I won't need to lie under the car to loosen the bolt, so I'll just be able to do it from the side. And that's gonna let me yeah, get them loosened right down, and then just gently lower it very carefully by a maximum of 40mm. So I'm gonna go for like 30mm to start with, and then see how we get on from there. So that's all out, and I've managed to break the nuts free, but unfortunately the nuts are turning. The studs are turning with the nuts, so I'm gonna have to take the back bumper off to get better access to try and brace the studs to then loosen the nuts. So let's have a go at that. Well, the bumper's off. It wasn't too bad. Had to drill out a few screws, but I'll let you have a look. So it's meant to be T27s, but there was a couple of flat heads that were completely corroded. It's meant to be T27s because it's a lot less likely that they're gonna corrode to the point that you can't get them out, but somebody had replaced a couple of T27s with flat heads, so just had to drill them out. So, but there's the bumper over there. I've just put it on some plastic, the type that I use for masking cars when I'm painting them, just to make sure it doesn't get scratched or anything, otherwise I'll be giving myself more work. And that's just the airbox there, and the other little plate that goes across the back. So this should give us some better access, hopefully. Maybe, yeah, got a lot of heat shields and things here as well. So might need to dig a little bit deeper, but I'll have a look and see. So what we're trying to get into is in here. Maybe just grab a wheel light and show you. Yeah, so it's that bolt. Focus. The bolt that I'm shining the light onto, unfortunately it's not focusing very well. A minute. You can just about see. Focus. Yeah, so it's that bolt there that we're trying to get to. So maybe need to get some of these heat shields out. They're just obviously there to stop the bumper melting, so that might get us in a bit closer. Let's have a look and see. Right, so I've dug a bit deeper and taken the heat shield off the side. There's an inner panel that the bumper actually mounts onto, and then there's the heat shield, as you can see. I'll show you. So that's the inner panel. That's a heat shield inside it, and there's another heat shield there. So that one tucks up under there, and that's basically what's blocking what we're trying to get to. So that gives us better access to that stud and the nut there. Hi, so it's the next day, racked up quite a few hours on this yesterday, had to delve in a bit deeper than planned, but that's what happens when you're working on cars, so it's best to expect that. Yeah, so I'll let you have a look and see where we are just now. So pretty much as it was last night, I've discovered that this engine mount here is leaking, so I've just messaged the customer and asked him to order a pair of them. The nuts were also spinning, but the whole thread is spinning, so it is actually dropping the engine, which is great. That means I can get access to do what we're planning on doing, but these definitely, or that one definitely needs replaced, and they look about the same age, so it's always advisable to do them in pairs, and they're only 100 quid each, so it's definitely worth doing just now while the car's stripped down to this point, because if it goes at another point in time, then they're going to need to pay the labour to get all this done again. So basically, I bolted the engine back up last night because I wasn't trusting this jack, which is a bit disappointing because it's actually sinking, and that's the second one. I don't know if I spoke about it in another video, but I bought another one of these jacks that I had before, and that's the replacement one. The first one broke, and this one's now sinking. So, but I did bolt the engine up last night. Again, I wasn't trusting the jack to hold the engine up, which you shouldn't really do anyway, to be fair. But I have left things on those jacks before for weeks without them sinking. So I've emailed the manufacturer to see what they'd like to do about that. So basically what my plan is I'm going to drop the car down a bit, because the bolts are now sort of slackened off. They're tightened up, but they'll be easy to undo. I don't really need much access from underneath the car, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lower the car down, and then put axle stands under the engine, and instead of lowering the engine down, I'm going to raise the car up a little bit, just by no more than 40 centimeters. Obviously that has the same effect of creating space at the top above the engine in the engine bay. And I'm going to get my friend Lee to measure as I'm doing that, to make sure that we're not going further than we should be. And he was also kind enough to come in last night and have a wee look at it. We were trying to actually see if we could see the fuel leaking as well, so we'll maybe need to get another wee look at that today. But it does actually look like it's peeing out of that side of the engine, and there's a few options there. There's a pipe at the back that goes between the fuel rails, so it could be that it's in that kind of vicinity, and everyone says it's very unlikely that it's a fuel rail. It is looking pretty wet. I don't know if you can see in the back there. Grab a light. I've ordered more lights. They should come today. You can see in the back there it is looking quite wet, so I'm gonna wait till Lee comes in and get the car started up again, and we put what we needed to put back on it to start it up, obviously, and have a wee look and see if we could see, just to verify where it is actually leaking from, because it'd be helpful to know that before we start changing things. The actual fuel rail's about £1,000. There's one here, but obviously we don't want to use that unless we have to, and not many people seem to think that it's likely to be the actual fuel rail. So yeah, we'll see, but gonna get cracked on just now and we'll update later. So just to show you, this is the stud for the engine mount, and obviously because that nut's kind of seized on, what's happening is it's just actually undoing the stud from the mount, and obviously that's not really any good. So what I'm going to do is use my induction heating tool to take this nut off, clean up the threads, and then put this stud back into where it should be, so that when I loosen that nut, it's basically that's dropping down the engine the way we want it to do, because then it'll be quite easy to see what's 40mm, and also that'll sit quite happily. There's plenty of thread in there, so that'll sit quite happily to hold the weight of the engine, so I don't need to worry about relying on the jack. So there we go. So that's that nut free, cleaned up the threads just with a wire brush. Another good thing about the induction heating tool is once you've heated it up, it's very easy to get it clean. Just wire brush, you can see inside the nuts clean as well. I haven't even wire brushed that yet, so that's great. So now what I'm going to do is move these nuts over to the other side, because this is the part of it that goes into the actual engine mount, and then that leaves us plenty of thread to drop the engine a bit and have it just secured by the nut as it should be. So that way I can not worry about where the engine's sitting, and it can sit like that quite happily while we do all the work at the top. It's definitely leaking from the fuel rails, which is unexpected, but I got my friend Lee to have a look at it while I was starting up again, and we're able to see, or he was able to see, that it's actually just corrosion on the fuel rails and it's coming right out of there. So so it means I'm going to need to take a bit more stuff off to actually take the whole rail out, but right now I just need to get this access sorted. So I'm going to go and wind this back into the car, and then do the same with the other side, and then just get him to measure while I drop the engine to make sure that it's sitting quite happily at 40mm, and then we can get cracking with actually replacing the bits.